How's it going, guys? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer, coming at you with another video. Hope you're all doing well. Cheers, Marcus. And cheers to you as well, Retro Raji. So, a couple of things to talk about. I was just going to post a pickups video, my typical affair where I've got the games up on here. And I just showcase what I picked up. But I actually had a few things I wanted to talk about. I thought it'd be easier just to get in front of the camera. Clear my throat here. Sorry, I just ate dinner. So the first thing is I'm on a big Elastica kick. So I was watching Megadan29 a couple weeks ago, and he was streaming some N64 WCW ROM hack. And he thought the song that was playing in the background was AC/DC Big Balls. And then I piped in, I'm like, that's not AC/DC, that's Garbage. The band Garbage from the 90s. And somebody else piped in the comment section, like, no, that's Elastica. I'm like, oh, right, Elastica. I remember back in, the early 2000s, the girl I was dating at the time, she was really into them. I never really did a deep dive until recently, and I don't want to talk a lot about it here, but they were good. They were legit. And the lead singer, Justine Frischman, she was something. Oh my. I'll just leave it at that. Good Lord. So, I want to talk about pickups, but before I get into that, I also want to talk about this here. A game you have all played before, and I've never played. Again, looking at this game through the eyes of a 42-year-old in the year 2025, I finally put on the original Call of Duty Black Ops on the PS3. And let me tell you, from what I've played so far, wow. This game is shocking. When you start the first mission and you're tasked with assassinating Fidel Castro and you are about to break into his room and you're the guy that you're with, he's like, ready to make history? And then you go in and you shoot him as he's having sex. Then to come to find out it's just a body double, which makes sense because when this game came out, I think in 2010, Fidel Castro was still alive. He was alive until 2016, believe it or not. He lived to be 90. So, yeah, shocking to say the least. And then shortly after that, you go to the White House and you meet JFK, and as John F. Kennedy's talking to you, you have a psychotic break from reality, and your character contemplates picking up a gun and shooting JFK right in the head. This is wild. I don't think I've ever seen anything in a video game as extreme as this. Unbelievable how shocked I was to see that. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that, and that's where I'm at right now. I got to go back and play the rest of it. But yeah, Black Ops is crazy. It lives up to the hype. It does. It lives up to the hype. It plays okay on the PS3. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. So, we'll get on with the pickups, and then I want to rant a little bit about the Nintendo Switch too. I wasn't even going to post a video today. So the first thing I want to talk about before I show you my first pickup is way back in the day, I picked up Dead Island on the Xbox 360, and I never beat it. I remember it had really bad screen tear, and it was giving me motion sickness at the time, so I never finished it, but I did want to go back and beat it. And then I picked up Dead Island Riptide, and I've never played it. I've had it in my collection for years, and I've never played it. I have it on Steelbook. And then the Dead Island HD, whatever you want to call it, Definitive Collection came out on the Xbox One and the PS4, and I really thought about picking that up. Until I did more research on it, and you can look it up online. There's videos from Digital Foundry, and there's other comparison videos as well. But whatever studio did the remastered version of the Dead Island collection, they completely overhauled the game. And basically the game was remastered in a totally different engine. Okay, totally different. The dev team, whoever was in charge of that, fucked around with the artistic direction from the original game. And I'm like I said, you go online and you look at it, and there's side-by-side comparisons, and it's all subjective because it's art, right? But I think the Xbox 360 and the PS3 version of Dead Island and Dead Island Riptide looks arguably better than the remastered versions that came out on the modern consoles at the time. Now, yes, of course, the modern consoles are probably playing the game at, oh, it might not even be 60 frames a second. I think it's still 30, to be honest with you. They look more sharp, obviously. The placeholders that they put in. I don't know what they. It looks different. The water looks different. The skybox looks different. Everything in the open world looks different. The lighting looks different. In the original version of the game, you could see leaves blowing across the screen in the wind, and you could see different weather effects. And when you're inside a cabana house, you can see light flickering on the wall. And this is all gone in the definitive edition. So when I went to the pawn shop the other day, I saw the definitive edition. I saw it for the PS4, and I did not pick it up. Oh, and another thing you can't do in it. In the original Dead Island, you could interact with the environment. So if there was a beach ball in the sand, as an example, you could walk up to it and it would move. Okay, maybe not a big deal for some of you, but the new the new graphics engine that was used for the Dead Island Definitive Edition, everything's fixed in place. You can't interact with the environment, and that kind of pisses me off as well. So, long story short, I'm not going to pick up the Definitive Edition. I'm going to go back and play Dead Island and Dead Island Riptide the way it was meant to have been played on original OG hardware. I am going to do that. That being said, I was shocked to see it because I've never seen it at the pawn shop before. But for $10, I finally picked up Dead Island 2. Day 1 edition. Finally picked it up. So all you suckers out there that paid full retail for this, I picked it up for $10. Now the thing is the game recently got a re-release with all of the DLC on the disc, as far as I'm aware, and it has a nicer box art. Came out back in October, November of 2024, and for a while, I was the one that wanted to pick up the definitive versions of games with the alternate box art. That was a big thing for me, but I have to stop doing that now because I'm not going to go out and buy the definitive edition of Dead Island 2 for $70 Canadian before tax when I can just pay $10 and get the vanilla version. Okay, if I come across the definitive edition 3 years from now at the pawn shop, sure, it's $10, I'll pick it up, but for now this will do me just fine. Same goes for the Terminator game that came out on the Xbox One, and the RoboCop game will probably get a re-release as well with alternate box art. I'm not going to do that. I can't justify doing that right now with the way things are with the tariffs and the economy and inflation right now. So yeah, $10, Dead Island 2. I don't know when I'll get to it. Hopefully sooner than later. And I picked up for $5 the Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay. Now, what's funny about this game is back when I was getting back into gaming, well, a couple of years after I got back into gaming, and I had the base model, the Xbox One, I had just picked it up. A buddy of mine that I was working with at the time, he lent me a few OG Xbox games. I didn't even have an OG Xbox at this time, and he gave me Max Payne, which blew me away, and he gave me the Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay. And I played it like for 5 minutes and I turned it off. I'm like, I don't really like this. I'm not a big fan of Vin Diesel. I don't care about the movie, The Chronicles of Riddick, and I didn't give it a fair chance. Fast forward to last year, I played through The Darkness on the Xbox 360, and I really, really enjoyed The Darkness. I played through The Darkness 2. I enjoyed that one as well. I didn't enjoy it as much as the original The Darkness. The Darkness was developed by Starbreeze Studios, which ended up getting bought by another company. And some of the original members from Starbreeze, it's my understanding, worked on the new Indiana Jones game on the Xbox Series X, which in a lot of ways plays very similar to The Darkness as far as gameplay mechanics is concerned. So, little known factoid, Starbreeze Studios actually did the Chronicles of Riddick as well. And going back and watching videos of this online, I can see the similarity between this and The Darkness. So I think I am going to go back and try to play this again and just try to put aside the fact that I'm not a huge fan of the Chronicles of Riddick, and I'm going to try to give this game a fair shake. The new Indiana Jones game, I don't care how good it is, I'm not going to play that. I am not a fan of Indiana Jones, but I will give this another try. I will, absolutely. Now, today I went to the thrift store and I picked up 9 Inch Nails' March of the Pigs. 2-disc. It basically got a couple of remixed versions of a few songs that were on the Downward Spiral. So that's very cool. Huge fan of 9 Inch Nails. Old school 9 Inch Nails. Nice digipack. Very cool artwork. And I picked up a little bit of an interesting release here. Psycho. And this is actually not a score. It's a bunch of songs that pay homage to Psycho, not the Psycho movie that came out in the early 2000s or late 90s, but the original Psycho. And you've got the famous film composer David Elfman contributes several songs to this soundtrack. I had it on in my car. I'm like, is this the original score to Psycho, the original Alfred Hitchcock movie? And then the first song is like the main theme from Psycho, and then the second song is a White Zombie song. I'm like, oh, okay. This is a tribute album. Yeah, but very cool indeed. Very cool. That cover, that looks like the more modern Psycho movie that came out there with Vince Vaughn. I have not seen that one yet, but yeah, those are my pickups. So the last thing I want to do, I want to talk about the Switch 2, and I'm not going to talk about it for very long. I'm not going to talk about the console and what it's capable of and all the rest of it, because it was showcased today in the Nintendo Direct. I mean, the console is clearly more powerful than a PS4 and an Xbox One. The reason why I say that is because apparently Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be released on the Switch 2. And I don't think CD Projekt Red would release it if it was running in the same state that it was running on the Xbox One or the PS4, right? So I imagine the Switch 2 is obviously not as powerful as an Xbox Series S, Series X, or a PS5, but it's more powerful than the last gen consoles. It's somewhere in between, right? The issue I have with the Switch 2 is a couple of issues I have with it. Number one, it's too expensive. You guys think it's expensive over in the US, whatever it costs, $450, whatever it costs over there. It's like $629 Canadian because we have a weak dollar. And then when you factor in tax on top of that, you're over $700. And that's not even for the bundle. That's just for the console, $700. The games digitally are going to be like $80 USD. So that's like $100 Canadian. Like God only knows how much they're going to cost, in physical form. But I guess I have to look at it from a different perspective because I'm an older man. Looking at it through the eyes of a 42-year-old, I can't justify it. I could afford a Switch 2, but I can't justify it. That's way too expensive. And the reason why I enjoy the Nintendo Switch is for the bite-sized experiences that are not graphical showpieces. Typically, the 2D side-scrolling affairs are the games that really interest me. And there's so much software that's been released for the original Switch, I haven't even scratched the surface. So, me personally, I really can't justify buying a Switch 2. I'm out. That's cool if you're going to buy it. I'm not going to pay premium for that. I'm not going to pay $100 a game for that. That's too rich for my blood. No fucking way. No way. What I would be open to is eventually getting a Switch OLED. And I'm sure they'll be plentiful now that everybody's going to run out and buy a Switch 2. They're going to try to get rid of their Switch OLED, right? So I would be open to that. But like I said, I'm fine with just a basic Switch. I don't need the Switch 2. I am not going to jump on that bandwagon. No, I'm not going to do it. If I do, it'll be years from now. 5, 6, 7 years from now. I'm not paying that much for a Switch 2, and I'm not paying $100 a game. Fuck that. Not when I can go to the pawn shop and pick up a game like this that can run on a console that's more powerful than the Switch 2. Okay, I would be much more interested in getting a special limited edition Xbox Series X than I would a Switch 2. That's just me. That's just me personally. And then you combine the fact that the Switch 2 is going to use proprietary micro SD cards, so they're trying to get you that way as well. And then any game that gets an HD, kind of like the Xbox Series X and the PS5, a bump in frame rate and a bump up in resolution, quality mode, and performance mode. Nintendo's going to charge a premium for that because they can, because they're Nintendo. So when you would play a PS4 or an Xbox Series X game and you put, an Xbox 4 or an Xbox One game on your Xbox Series console, Series X or PS5, you could take advantage of the frame rate boost, performance mode, quality mode, and it didn't cost anything extra. Nintendo's going to try to charge extra for that. You got to be out of your fucking mind. You got to be out of your fucking mind. No way. You're going to charge a premium for us to be able to play games that we've already played before, so we can play them at 60 FPS or play them at 4K or whatever it is. That's crazy. Nintendo is gouging you guys. They're gouging the consumers. So, no, I'm not going down that road. No thanks. No, I am perfectly fine with my Nintendo Switch. I don't even play it that much. I play it quite a bit when I'm on the road, but when I'm at home, I don't really play it a whole lot, to be honest with you. It's not my most favorite console. It's my most favorite console when I'm on the road, but when I'm at home, I don't want to sit there with my head down. I'd rather be sitting in front of the TV with a controller in my hand. So, yeah, there's no hype for me regarding the Switch 2. I am not paying $750 Canadian, and I'm not paying $100 a game. Who can afford that? Who can afford that? Especially with what's going on right now, with the tariffs and the fucking inflation and all the rest of it. Oh my god, that's crazy. You guys can have it. I'm out. I'm not going down that road. I'll just pick up games at the pawn shop for $10. That's crazy. I got enough games in my backlog that I need to tackle. Heck, I've got enough Switch games that I still haven't gotten to yet either. So you guys can go out and rush out and buy the Switch 2. Okay, put all your old Switch consoles and your Switch games up on Facebook Marketplace and let people like me go and swoop right in and pick up all the gold. But yeah, that's crazy. $750 Canadian after tax for a Nintendo Switch 2. That is too rich for my blood. I can afford it. I spend way more than that on other things that are way more important. Like a couple months ago, like I said, I spent $5,000 just like that, putting a new furnace in my home. So paying $750 for Nintendo Switch is the least of my problems, the least of my worries. I just ordered new tires for my car today. That's going to be probably more than $750, I imagine. It's just the principle of it. Why would you pay $750 for a goddamn portable video game console that, let's be honest, is at the risk of being stolen if you're out and about with it, right? You leave it in your car, you go somewhere and somebody breaks into your car. Oh fuck, someone stole my Switch too. Like, where do you draw the line? At least with this, I bought it at the pawn shop. I paid whatever I paid for it, $225, I think. You go ahead and steal it. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, anyways, yeah, that's expensive. I don't know what the deal. Oh, I know what the deal is. It's obviously got to do with inflation and it's got to do with the tariffs and all the rest of it. But you can make the argument, oh, $750 isn't what it used to be, and $400 20 years ago is the new $750. Yeah. Well, I'm still not paying $750. There's no fucking way. No way. You think of how many used games you could buy for $750 for your PS5, for your PS4, for your Xbox One, for the original Nintendo Switch. No, I'm not paying that. I refuse. Okay? I don't care that you can use the Joy-Cons like a mouse. I don't give a fuck about that. Oh my god, that's gimmicky as well. Unless it's a point-and-click adventure. Looking at you, Marcus. I'm not gonna. I don't really care about that. That's gimmick. They're showing like a golf game where you can use the Joy Cons like a mouse, and like, yeah, okay, you're trying to go down the Nintendo Wii road again. So yeah, that's it. That's my little rant on the Switch 2. I mean it, guys. I'm not pre-ordering that. Knock yourself out. Go get one day one. Post your unboxing video. I don't give a fuck. I'm not into that. I'll just go to the pawn shop. And like I said, I'll pick up these games here for next to nothing. Okay? That's just how it's going to be. Anyways, I'm going to get back to Black Ops tonight or tomorrow night. I still got to post my review on Uncharted 4. I got to post my review on that. There's a lot going on in the games room here. Cut it off there, guys. Right around the 22-minute mark. Thanks so much for watching. You people are wonderful and beautiful. You take care.